I've said this, and I've said it to priests that I have met. I said that if today that man that about 2,000 and some years came back today and went around exhorting people and preaching to do what he did, and if he would be told, he would probably be put in jail, because, and his judges would be the same judges he had 2,000 years ago. He wouldn't be crucified, of course. He would be given a lethal injection or something like that. Unfortunately, that is the situation today, and that is why we need to really think hard about, of course, no one wants drug addiction. If they want it, they're crazy. But we should not allow is to allow our own society to be destroyed very quickly by the forces of the establishment who push us in that direction. I would like to ask, I'm not very diplomatic. As you have noticed, that I'm not as diplomatic as Gustavo de Grief. But I would like to ask all of my journalist friends who have come from the U.S., what kind of grade do you think George Bush deserves? How would you describe him? Now, I'd like to ask you what you would think if that man humiliates the leader of a nation like Mexico, ordering him to respect a certain drug policy. Have you ever thought about why they have cut off the Mexican eagle, and how they have been able to take away Mexico's autonomy? Nobody has even spoken up before this terrible, disastrous thing. They're telling us that this is the end of Mexico as a nation. Who have the greatest amount of interest in following such a policy? Who are those who benefit from drugs and drug traffic? Mr. de Graaf offered many ways of getting out of this problem, not even very drastic, and some of them more drastic, and returning the responsibility to the state. And I think the state should take responsibility. And they must take on the cost of the drug policy that they've had in the past. And I also think that countries that are geographically located south of the United States should say, this is enough. And they should be able to start the machinery against this policy. Our children should have the right to a better future. Our children deserve the chance to be architects of their own society, of their own destiny, of their own future. And journalists have the duty, the unavoidable duty, to tell the truth with absolute honesty and authenticity. We must fight so that truth is known as to the far reaches of the nation. We must work together with universities like this one who are having a titanic job or task to be able to let people know and to clarify the heavens over our society. It is hard. And a lot of people have asked you, even in as far away as Madrid, what are we going to do, Mr. Menéndez? If our students graduate as journalists and they don't have a chance to exercise the profession in any newspaper because the newspapers are under the control and they are owned by great large consortiums, and they only want to protect their own interests, not the interests of the state of the nation. And my response came up in a community visit. Go down and talk to the people. We go into the community. The only thing we do is to offer the pages of our newspaper so that the community problems can be on the pages of the newspaper and be known by the rest of the community. In addition to that, it needs to be for the entire community to come up with a solution to community problems. So then government will have to answer to the community. And if one government cannot give the right answer, the community should be able to find a government that will respond to their needs and not other needs. Also, I'm seeing a little light flashing here telling me that I've gone beyond my limit. I want to thank at this moment each and every one of you for being here today, particularly my fellow journalists who are here. These efforts are very, very important. That these events like today invite us to keep fighting and to help us promote human dignity. And in the pages of Por Esto, and there's 128 pages in our newspaper, and they're open to anyone who wants to make our place a world worth living in. We can't do it alone, although if we have to, we'll do it alone. But we want to continue to fight with more people. I invite each one of you to come tell the truth, not just be one newspaper, but all the newspapers that can tell the truth. And we walk forward together to try to find the truth and to be absolutely sure that they might break us as people, but they will never bend us in our principles, and we certainly will never kneel before them, and we will never allow the Mexican agricultural sector to be limited